I told y'all, No Jumper, Vlad, they is feds, bro. They ask too much police shit and they finally getting exposed, bro. And this is the best time. We finna get into this shit though, bro. Like, we finna get straight into it.
More backlash than usual after making certain is grave. But now that Rich Homie Quan passed away, he feels like he could share it.
Conversation with Rich Homie Quan before he died. I was going to take this one to the grave, but he died.
Yeah.
So I'm able to talk about it. But like with Quan, George Chidi had brought up in our last interview that this whole thing was about Quan not wanting to sign
to Birdman,
to Young Thug or.
I didn't even know all this. I'm thinking they talking about the clip of Adam 22 and No Jumper, and they was talking about who how many murders do you have? Oh, so nobody think about that. This some whole other
whatever else.
Rich Gang.
And they started to pressure him, and Nut got in the middle of it, and this whole situation was over that. And there's paperwork that was going to be brought up in court specifically over that, and George Chidi sent me the paperwork. And I said, I'm not going to put this out because me and Quan are cool. I did his first interview, so let me just talk to him about it. So I called him up. I'm like, yo, I got something important to talk to you about. He's like, all right, let's FaceTime. I'm like, cool, let's do that. And I'm like, listen, like, this is what I found out. This is what was mentioned in the interview. I'm cutting this part out. But they're saying that this whole thing is about you not wanting to sign, to Young Thug or Rich Gang or whatever. And then this is ultimately what led to, Nut getting killed. And he said, yeah, that's true.
If you just scroll through the comments, people had an issue with this because they felt like if you weren't going to talk about it when he was alive, then you shouldn't have talked about it when he passed away. Somebody says, so when someone died, the same morals and principles don't apply. If you said you was finna take it to the grave, why the heck you doing speaking on it?
Why would he say all
super
that?
Lame, this man police. Like the regular allegations. Now, I disagree in terms of people thinking that Vlad TV shouldn't have spoken on this. Listen, bro, Rich Homie Quan had passed away. Now, if this was a conversation that would have made Rich Homie Quan look bad, if this was a conversation that would have disparaged him in any way, then maybe I can understand making an argument for why this shouldn't come out. But if Vlad TV wasn't going to share it because Rich Homie Quan was still alive and he was still trying to work his way through the music industry and he didn't really want to pour the gas on Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug beef, then that's understandable. But once the man passed away, I mean, there's no way Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug can beef, bro. Like, one is dead and one is still alive. So him sharing it doesn't really disparage or affect Rich Homie Quan in any way. So that's why I'm not against Vlad TV sharing this. Now, the other parts of this interview that people had a lot of issue with stems from Vlad TV's identity. Now, Vlad TV is an openly and proud Jewish man.
Yeah,
and being open and proud.
Yeah, but this the thing. I didn't heard Vlad say this out his own mouth. He was like, I grew up in the Jewish faith, and I don't really follow it. Yeah, sometimes what you're born into. I forgot what interview it is. If y'all remember, let me know. Cause it's gonna sound like I'm yapping, but I swear to you, he was talking to somebody. I forgot who he was talking to. He was like, I was born into the Jewish faith, but I'm not even Jewish. That's what he said.
For going to speak up for your people and you're going to defend your people. So Vlad TV attempted to broach the subject of Kanye West. Kanye West was recently banned on Twitter for going on a manic Twitter rant where he would say comments that people can perceive as anti-Semitic. Apparently, the Twitter banging was not enough. Bro decided he was going to drop a merch that sport a symbol that's very controversial in relations to Jewish people. They responded back with merch of their own targeted at going at Kanye West. They even got a F Kanye mug. So these folks is really going to war, bruh. This Kanye West situation is really polarizing, especially among the
Kanye. This is the last time I'm pausing it. Kanye West's point is you could sign drill artists, you could promote all this bullshit agenda. Vlad can interview murderers from the black community and give them a platform, and you can monetize off our pain. But the moment I throw up this, I can't monetize off y'all pain. Okay, bet. Keep doing that. Keep doing that.
Inner cities and urban communities. On one hand, people think Kanye West has lost his mind. They think he's bipolar. They think he's manic. They think his comments were hateful. While on the other hand, there are people who believe that Kanye West has a larger message that's being ignored, and they're telling him to cook. Kanye will say something really insane and go on a manic rant, and then he will circle back and say something so profound that leaves people divided on the issue. Like, for example, after his Twitter rant going off, he circled back and he stated, I'm going to normalize talking about the failed art student the way talking about killing black folks has been normalized. What Kanye West said here is something you really have to think about. It's something you really have to look into. Because if you look at the harsh reality, you will see, maybe got a point here.
Yep.
People sit at the top of the food chain in the music industry. And the people who sit at the top of the food chain,
pointing that. Thank you, Flacco.
They taste make. They curate the culture. They curate what's hot. And for some reason, for whatever agenda it is, they've made gangsta music hot. Right? Yep. They've made degeneracy in black music hot. So when we look at the current state of hip hop, there are people profiting off of rapping about and glorifying black genocide. And Kanye West is asking the question of, how come rapping, talking, glorifying, gloating about black genocide in your music and making a mockery out of the black traumas and the pains that come from those environments, how come that's allowed on social media? And how come certain people are allowed to profit off of it to no end? But when we talk about their pain, or when we talk about certain people's pain, oh, it's a no. And you get banned and ostracized and blackballed from everything.
Shadow banned.
That's the question he's asking.
Bro,
now, whether or not you agree, you have to admit, you have to at least think about it.
You have to.
Vlad TV went on DJ Akademiks, and Vlad TV responded back to this. And Akademiks actually confronted Vlad about this particular talking point. And it's Vlad's reaction to Akademiks confronting him about this talking point that got a lot of people upset.
Told me he did, I wouldn't be surprised. That outfit, I would sit there with it, and I would start to push back. I'd be like, you know that chain that you're wearing, the swastika chain. I lost about 9 family members by that group that you're representing right now. Like my grandfather's, all his 9 siblings were killed by Nazis. I have a smaller family right now because of what you're representing. You know, you think those people like black people? When you see a Nazi out, a dude with a Nazi tattoo, you think he loves black people?
Y'all don't love us anyway.
Loves black people? Like you know what?
If we shine y'all shoes every day, nigga, y'all wouldn't love us. If you love black folks like how you supposed to, leave us alone. Get out our industries. Get out. I see why niggas got mad instantly.
You know what Hitler did? He sterilized every mixed person in Germany was sterilized so they don't reproduce. Because they're not trying to taint the superior race that Hitler was trying to create.
Christopher Columbus.
They weren't necessarily always killing black people, but if you were German and black.
My bad, I'm gonna rewind it. I know I'm talking.
He sterilized every mixed person in Germany was sterilized so they don't reproduce because they're not trying to taint the superior race that Hitler was trying to create. They weren't necessarily always killing black people, but if you were German and black, you wouldn't be allowed to have babies.
Yeah, sure. Like nobody, or at least I don't think anybody is agreeing with what took place. Nobody is disagreeing with how horrific it was. What people is pointing to is what appears to be a double standard when it comes to trauma with other groups.
And he doesn't even see it.
Trauma with this group. Here's an example for YouTube. Within the first minute of this video, if I would have said the field art student's name, Hitler, if I would have said that, this video would have been demonetized, age restricted. I might got a strike. But if I would have said the name of any famous slave owner, I wouldn't have gotten demonetized, age restricted, or striked. If I would have said the name of any slave owner YouTube wouldn't have cared.
They wouldn't.
So a lot of folks will sit back and ask ourselves.
So yeah, man, I'm gonna react to the rest of this when I get home from work. Go to work. Ah, shit, I just skipped it. I think I'm like right here. All right, probably late. I'll be back in a few hours, you ninjas.
Listen, and I don't know if this is the sole reason. I think it's much more multifaceted because it's not. So he said they make money off our pain, but they hate when we try to exploit their pain. And he uses this us versus them type of ideology. But what do you say to that? Where he's like, hey, listen, when it comes to, I guess he's speaking about black people. He's like,
so every Jewish person makes money off of black pain? Really? Every Jewish person?
No.
I don't know.
Because he's saying the Jews, meaning all the Jews. He even said in interviews, like, oh, do you remember he was on that one dude, that Proud Boys podcast? And he was like, remember this was, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half ago or something. He did an interview with one of the dudes from the Proud Boys. And the guy's like, hey, so when you say the Jews, are you talking about specific Jews or all Jews? Kanye said all Jews.
He was obviously trolling, bro. This guy Vlad tight. He came out to the interview about it. Hey, man. This the thing, though, bro. Vlad ain't as police as Adam. Because Adam like a Jump Street 21. I act like I'm with y'all, but I'm not. Like, Vlad, like, you know he like on some interrogation shit. So it's on you to do that with Vlad, but I ain't gonna lie to you. You gotta look at the Chinese folks that be exploiting niggas in the hood. Chinese folks make money off black people. Asian people make money off black people. Black people make money. We all exploit each other.
Telling me that all Jews make money off of black pain.
Yeah, but those are two different things, though. When Kanye West talk about the music industry, he's referring to a specific group at the top.
And
when he was in a Gavin McInnes interview, he was referring to, I guess, how he feel towards the group as a whole. But when he talks about the music and the profiting, he's referring to the label owners at the very top of the food chain. They are profiting off of black trauma. They are profiting off of black genocide. And, okay, the profiting part isn't even like where the stickler is. The stickler is, how come rapping and talking about black genocide
is normalized
treated with the same amount of urgency as talking about, let's say, the Holocaust? Right? Talking, glorifying, rapping about, profiting from black genocide is
one thing I will say. If you try to play that music, the people from that community will be like, bro, we don't want to hear this. Black folks hear that shit and be like, hey, bust a nigga brain, hey, fuck a nigga wife, hey, blow up your house, hey. Like, we just dance to the dumbest. Nah, and I ain't gonna say we, bro, because I ain't black, nigga.
Okay, bro. You don't get banned off of Twitter for dropping a song talking about murdering 18 ops this year. But you get banned for talking about their pain. And that right there is what I believe Kanye West's argument is.
We don't care about each other.
They're able to profit from it, but that's just one half of it. Is how social media and these companies react.
This video,
or are certain people in the record business in certain positions
to go to ring,
and they happen to have certain artists that are gangster rappers, and they monetize off, and these artists create this music, and they are the record label leads, and they help these artists to push their albums, along with all types of other artists.
Well, just in his train of thought, how he was explaining it, he would be like, well, how could one be ignored? And as soon as I wear these symbols that exploiting pain of other people, now this is a bigger issue. Why are we causing a problem here when I do it, as opposed to when pain of black people are?
So that means that there shouldn't be an uproar if I wear a necklace of a black man hanging from a tree.
Okay, yeah. That's true.
Like, you see what I'm saying?
That's true.
You're exploiting.
Niggas would be crying if you did that.
Of violence.
Oh my God.
Not just hate or disdain, actual lethal violence. If any person, black, white, or whatever, but especially non-black person, somehow wears a symbol,
I wouldn't do that.
An iced out symbol of slavery, it would not go well on any level for that person.
It wouldn't go well.
But the symbol means nothing in the grand scheme of the conversation. The symbol just represents the horrors that took place with their group. Just like if somebody is rapping about black genocide, rapping about black trauma, black pain,
see, and here's the thing, though, bro. there's an underbelly of the industry that nobody likes to talk about. Now I understand what Vlad said. He said, "Don't disrespect my dead ancestors." He gonna get his out, right? But it's bigger than you, Vlad. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Like, it's bigger than you, bro. Cause that ADL and that JDL, they work right along with Black Zionists too. And this thing about Ye need to talk about the Black Zionists as well. Like, don't just like, bro. This is why you can't just pin it at one group, because everybody else can just be like, "Ah, look, they still think it's over there." Whole time we controlling them from over here.
Overhead and an overseer from that
we would never know who's really doing shit.
That. We now have to ask ourselves, bro, how come our trauma is algorithm friendly?
You just gotta do your history.
How come when you rap about Black trauma, when you rap about Black genocide, when you promote and glorify Black genocide, is algorithm friendly? The algorithm isn't suppressing it, it's pushing it, it's promoting it. But when you talk about,
we don't push against it.
The other group's pain, when Kanye wears certain things, when Kanye West tweets certain things, that gets suppressed. And that right there is the root of the issue. Our pain, our plights isn't really seen as a priority over a particular groups.
But he's equating that to, say, these executives that happen to be
Jeff Vaughn,
say Jewish, if they're monetizing off, say, black on black violence, gangsterism, the denigration of black culture, he's like, well, yeah, that might not be lynching and really extreme levels of black turmoil, but it's still black turmoil that they're benefiting off of. So why can't I benefit off, or I don't know if he thinks he's benefiting, but why can't I exploit your pain?
So
that's his argument. I'm not saying argument.
So if Kanye dropped, if he wanted to support an artist who was Jewish, who talked about killing other Jewish people, like, you know, banging on other Jewish people, whatever else, I don't think anyone really have a problem with that.
Because y'all community don't, you see how he say he wouldn't have a problem with it? Because they community don't go for it. He gonna get ostracized. He gonna get shunned. They gonna get him right. Or they gonna do a Drake where, like, Drake lived two lives. Like, you think Drake bring any of that gangster shit to home to the bar mitzvah? No. Them niggas probably ain't never met his mama, or his uncles, or his cousins, or his great brothers, or his, none of them. Drake go home to that bar mitzvah and, well, I don't know, you know, they only have it one time, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. He having happy Kwans and all type of shit.
I wouldn't give a shit.
I know you like this nigga retarded.
Right? That's what he's talking about.
I just said
in fact,
Kwanzaa
a lot of
to
these, when you look at sort of the biggest gangster rap labels, there's usually a black person at the head of them. Suge Knight.
See what I'm saying?
You know, QC, Coach K and P.
You see what I'm saying? It takes
gangster rappers all on that label.
Jay-Z, Lior.
Right?
And again, I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate.
And the parent label, that's just one of their properties out of dozens of artists, including a Taylor Swift and including all these other people. And
Vlad means well, and he's just trying to defend his people.
He's just trying to defend his people, bro, honestly.
These black label owners, bro, don't run nothing.
They don't run shit.
When Birdman is giving advances to Drake or Nicki Minaj when they were under Birdman, Birdman was getting that budget approved from Lucian at the very top.
What? Right, so I never knew that. Damn.
Top is who runs it.
Damn.
The label owners are just placeholders, bro. Like the black label owners are just placeholders. The real bosses is Lucian at the very top. Because they're the ones who curate and dictate the culture and the taste of music in the culture. Right, so they're the ones who is pushing gangster music. They're the ones who are profiting off of black trauma and black pain. So yes, a black label owner is in place, but the real beneficiaries are the people at the very top. When Vlad TV says that these labels have multiple artists signed to them, they have different genres, they're not just focusing on hip hop. Hip hop isn't really their bread and butter. So hence, you know, we're overstating the importance of hip hop to their bottom line.
Yeah, they don't even care.
I would implore Vlad. Now, again, Vlad means
they
well.
Just exploit,
I don't think
because we
like
exploit
Vlad
ourselves.
is being intentionally, you know, like deceptive. I do think Vlad just don't understand or probably got the facts wrong. Listen, don't take my word for it. There's a literal audio out there, man, of Lucian and Lior where they're breaking down and explaining how hip hop and hip hop music is the literal foundation. And without the foundation of hip hop music at these labels, everything else that exists in the culture wouldn't be here, right? You know, country, rock music. So they speak on how important hip hop is, you know. So I don't believe that, this is just one of the things they do. Among other things, I believe this is the thing they do. And because it's the thing they do, you have to ask yourself, man, how come they're allowed to profit off of
I'm
black
not gonna lie to
genocide?
you, we're shifting into the times where hip hop is not gonna be important no more. It's already over with. Like, it used to be a point to where rap ran everything, bro. Now it's so much. What the hell? What the heliante? What the hell? It's just too much going on. So you don't even pay. You don't even pay that shit. TikTok destroyed hip hop in music. That's why I'm still trying to like spread a real frequency of that authentic energy, like that Killer Army. I'm not saying that's the only type of rap style, but just the hey young world, the world is yours. Hey young world. The music just started getting diluted. And then even when you look at the early 2000s, even though what we do is wrong, and he busting them bars down for what's his name, Freeway. So it's like time going on, shit just keep getting watered down. And that's why I always tap in with the underground scene, because it's gonna have that authentic there. But as far as mainstream, that shit popped. But yeah though, man, we gotta keep making content and media to cultivate this industry, bro.